so basically what we're going to talk about is what is hoarding, what do we know about it, where does this come from, what is it, what do we do about it, right? And just an FYI, there's a slide here about that, but I'll just let you know right now, that May of next year, 2013, when the DSM-5 comes out, and if anybody does not know what the DSM-5 is, it's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, it's what counselors, that's how we come up with our medical diagnoses, it's like in the Bible, okay? And the DSM-5, hoarding will have its own classification, its own diagnosis. It will also be on Axis 1. It's very, very important when it comes to treatment, very, very important when it comes to reimbursement, okay? So, in a nutshell, hoarding is too much stuff, can't get rid of it, and don't know how to organize it. Now, hint number one, when you work with someone who's a hoarder or a clutterer, never call their stuff stuff. It will be the quickest way to get buried in their stuff, or never get invited back again to do anything. Okay? For a true hoarder, all of their items, all their belongings are their treasures. It's their life. It's who they are. They have an emotional connection. They have a physical connection to these things. If they're missing or when they're gone, they can have true emotional reactions to it, and including death. Some people have been so anxious, so overwhelmed by what's been gone or what's been changed, they actually have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, heart attacks, and die. So we have to be very, very cautious and very, very respectful when we walk into a person's home and try to help them declutter what's going on. Got some good pictures too. This is the garage after a little bit of decluttering. You know, you look at this and what do you see? What's the problem with this picture? Fire hazard. Right. The other issue with hoarding and cluttering, severe hoarding and cluttering cases are your fire hazards, your health and safety hazards. You know, you have folks that may be insulin dependent, diabetic, they may need visiting nurses to come in, they may need an ambulance to come get them because they've fallen down, they can't get up, and things like that. And you have too many items in the house, nobody can get in to get you. Okay? There are cases where, you know, fire departments can't and won't come into your homes to fight a fire because they're afraid their people will get caught in fire in the home. So they'll fight from the outside, but they can't get in the home. So we're looking at the health and safety issue as well as mental health. Okay? Yeah, we'll get back to that in a second. Again, these are just some pictures of some cases that have been worked on. We'll talk about bathrooms and workable appliances. You know, a lot of times classifications of hoarding or levels of hoarding is dependent upon loss of utilizations of rooms, loss of ability to use your running water, take a shower, use a bathroom, use a toilet, things like that. So, again, Dr. Frost is one of the kind of gurus on this, and a lot of information here is taken from Dr. Frost. But again, it's very much the same thing. Too much stuff, can't get rid of it. Don't know how to organize it. One of the keys is this word appear to be useless or of limited value. Okay, and the question or the statement that come up with that is to whom? To whom does it appear to be useless? To whom does it appear to be of limitless value? Okay, for a true hoarder, nothing is of limited value. Nothing is useless. And so you can able to work through why they hold on to things for 10, 12, 15 years. Why do you need a stack of used coffee cups? You know, why do you need all of these items that are just collecting dust and maybe harboring bugs, things like that? The living spaces get cluttered, we can't use them. And the mental health part is the distress it causes for somebody when you're talking about getting rid of them, or talking about organizing them, or talking about trying to file things, or talking about trying to maybe get those totes and put things away and you can label where they exactly put them, you know, out of the way. One of the keys, and number two, for a true hoarder, what causes them a lot of problem is the fear of forgetting. I may put it away, I'm going to forget where it's at. If I forget where it's at, I am less than a person. I am no longer worthy. Okay? Now, so what this goes into, folks, is cognitive thinking, is attaching, assigning beliefs on things that don't match. Okay? You have a cognitive distortion here. Not a cognitive brain damage type thing, But it's a cognitive distortion. Things don't make rational sense. Okay, but they get caught up in this in a rapid cycle. Of course, I was trying to clean hands if the water worked. So, currently in the DSM-4, hoarding is found under obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And it's just one little line. Oops. Go. Back. Go back. One way. It's just one little line which talks about individuals may be unable to discard worn-out worthless objects, so there's really nothing there. Right? When did you guys really hear the word hoarding? A&E. Right? TLC. Right? National Geographic has a show now. There's 2 other networks that carry hoarding type shows. But before that, it wasn't. Pack rat, eccentric, lazy, dirty, right? Crazy. Never really had a word for it. How long has hoarding been going on? Man, since I was a caveman, right? Collecting bones and women, right? Dragging them in a cage. I mean, that's right. Hoarding's been around forever, and it's not just a Cuyahoga County problem. It's not just Ohio. It's not just the United States, right? Australia has had studies. England has had studies. You know, it's not as big of a deal. I don't want to say big of a deal, but it's not made up to be such a huge deal in like third world countries because of just the natural way of things that are set up there. I interviewed a woman once. She came from Cambodia or came from somewhere. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she said, talk about hoarding, what was going on, and she said, you know, she was in my country. She goes, we actually lived on dirt floors with a thatch hut. That was our living condition. And what gave us status was the amount of things that we had. So I came here in this country, like, wow, I can get all this stuff. And relatively cheap. Right? Relatively inexpensive. So for her, acquiring all these items gave her self-status, gave her self-confidence, made her feel good about herself. Because of kind of some of the cultural differences and where she came from. So, OCD is not hoarding, and hoarding is not OCD. In fact, 83% of people with significant hoarding problems do not have OCD. OCD being obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, you could be a compulsive shopper, okay, but it doesn't fit obsessive compulsive disorder. And two of the differences here are most folks that have obsessive compulsive disorder know it and want to do something to change it. Okay, it's also obvious sometimes. With the hand, typical hand washing or 1, 2, 3, that kind of stuff. Hoarders don't think it's their problem, they think it's your problem. Okay? They don't think it's a problem. They don't see the problem we're talking about. Also, there are true brain PET scans that have been shown that there's different parts of the brain that are affected when it comes to somebody who has obsessive compulsive disorder or somebody who has a hoarding disorder. So it's truly biologically different as well as physically, outwardly different, as well as what's going on inside the person. Again, OCD, they kind of know it, they want to change it, they're going to get help. By the way, there's medication, there's treatment right now, there's ways to really go forth and treat OCD. There is no medication for hoarding. Nothing is, you can't get a shot for it, you can't take a pill for it. Electroconvulsive therapy won't work for it. Okay? We do have a treatment protocol that we found and that we're going to work on. I'll talk about that shortly. But it's a 104-week, it's a 2-year, once-a-week kind of thing. So, agency providers, who's going to pay for that? Right? Okay. Oh, and for private practitioners who may be in the audience, or this can't be done in an office-based setting. Anybody know why? You got to see the home. You got to see the environment. I can go take a picture of someone's nice clean home and say, "See what I did? Look at me." Oh, great! When I get there, it's a good job, right? No, you got to be in it. And I can ask my folks if they know that. Okay. So like I said, give emotional meaning, feel safer with things than with people. We'll talk about traumatic events in a second. What I want to ask you guys is, why is a personality trait of a person who hoards, how could you be perfectionistic? How does that fit? Anybody know? Method of the madness. Tell me more. What you mean by that?
Well, they've got to categorize in their mind, and they know what's there. They can tell you and find it.
Okay.
When they see clutter, they see organization.
Right. Oh, and on the same lines, when it talks about cleanup, when you talk about organization, when you talk about trying to declutter, okay, they have a specific way it needs to be done. They have a specific time frame that it has to be done in, and it has to be done perfectly. And knowing that it can't be done perfectly in that time frame, and that way, oh, by the way, you can't do it, I have to do it. Don't touch me, yeah, right? And they've already set themselves up for failure, and so they just forget about it. Okay? And that's where perfectionistic, and then you start to cycle, well, I can't deal with it, and I'll never be able to put it the way I need it to put it. It'll never be exactly where I need it to be, so I know where it's at, so I can see it, so that when I want it, I can go get it, even though I haven't needed it in 10 years. But someday I will. Okay? And this is not the same thing as those that went through depression, by the way. There's no significant correlation between children in the Depression era and hoarders, or people who grew up in the Depression era and hoarders. You do have some, okay? But there's no significance there, enough to say, oh, it's because of this. Hungry? However, if you're sick, I think we have a little penicillin one right here. A little shot right there. This picture is to signify that hoarding is an equal opportunity offender. Okay? Doesn't matter who we are. Race, gender, socioeconomic status, culture, doesn't matter. This was a home of a national engineer, a NASA engineer, who, very brilliant. He's got plans up here of the space shuttle that he worked on. Okay? Brilliant guy. But obviously he had a real hard time throwing him away. Doctors, lawyers, judges, everyday people, doesn't matter. If you catch the bug, per se, you got it. Okay? So, everybody's heard of bipolar disorder, yes? It's estimated in the United States that bipolar disorder is about 2.6% of the population. Okay? Schizophrenia? Anybody ever heard of that? Right? Estimated about 1.1% of the U.S. population. So that's 3.7%. The U.S. population has bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. It is believed hoarding is about 3 to 5% of the population of the United States. So hoarding is more than or equal to a combination of bipolar and schizophrenia. Just let that sit there. How we accept bipolar and schizophrenia. We want to work with folks with bipolar and schizophrenia. You know, we understand it and we want to deal with it. But hoarding, for some reason, you know, it's eccentricism, it's lazy, it's messy. All right, guys in the audience, don't be proud of this fact, because although most hoarders were found to be female, unmarried, and lived alone, the true fact is 60% of hoarders are male, but about 80% of those we find out about are female, and that's why it's so skewed. Okay, women tend to have more friends as we get older. Guys we're really good at isolating ourselves. We're really good at hiding. We're really good at pushing people away. And in general, the population feels more empathetic towards older women than men. So, yes, ma'am.
Age onset. Are we seeing hoarding in at the puberty? Are we seeing hoarding at adulthood? What?
That is a fantastic question.
I didn't hear the question.
The question was, when's the onset of hoarding? When does it start? How does it start? Right? Which is a great segue, but I won't go to the next slide until somebody makes a guess. That doesn't know yet.
Say it again.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to have somebody take a guess before I go to my next slide.
A loss.
A loss? That could be the signifying event, correct. Let's go. And with that, you have an age that it can really start at.
7.
7. Real close. Hoarding really can start in early childhood. And it can be something as insignificant as I didn't have enough mashed potatoes for dinner tonight. And seriously, it never resolved. It got so entrenched, now I need to have stuff to feel good, to feel safe. Okay? Now you could have abuse, you could have neglect, you could have all those major catastrophe type traumatic events. It doesn't have to be that big. Okay? It's just something that happened to you that traumatized you in some sense or fashion, right, that you never worked through. And so to feel safe about it, you start collecting things because you feel like that stuff. You need to run people because stuff won't let you down. People do. People hurt you, stuff don't. Okay? Comorbid conditions, yes, you can have more than one thing. The reason older adults is so big is because that's where we're seeing it now. Think about this, as a kid, right? You may have parents that just say, look, you keep your room crappy, but anything comes out the side of this door, I'm going to throw it out. Right? So there's a little bit of control there. You become a teenager, and perhaps you have a little peer pressure because you want to have some friends over or something like that. And you go to college, you live in a dorm, anywhere but a frat house, because that doesn't count. There's some peer pressure around it. There's some controls in that area. All right? You get married, you have a spouse, possibly, that may help control that situation. Where you really see it flourish is when the kids fly the coop and the spouse leaves or dies. And now you're alone. And boom, right, exactly. Okay? So the hoarding behaviors and thoughts have probably been there for some time. But when the controls are gone is when it just blossoms. Okay? So two terms that you'll never hear me say outside of your presentation. One is anosognosia, and that's simply not knowing that there's a problem, not understanding, not seeing it. There's no reality there, you don't get it. All right, which is different from denial, which you know, but you just deny that it's there. And sologomania, which is continually putting yourself into a squalid-like condition. When I say squalid, that's when we talk about rotting trash, fecal matter, things of that nature. Okay? Real quickly about animal hoarders, which is an entirely different animal. The key here, guys, too, is now you're talking about living, breathing things that give you positive feedback. Right? The dog wagging its tail, the cat's purr, the nice pitter-pat around, nice little noises for you. Right? The cockroaches get out of your way when you walk around. Okay? Now you feel responsible, but now they're your children. You need to take care of them. Okay, so quick question, how many animals does it take to be an animal hoarder? 2. Alright, the numbers don't necessarily matter. It's the providing the minimal standards of nutrition and sanitation for the animals, as well as being able to take care of yourself. Right? It's not one or the other, it's both. It's making sure the living conditions are habitable. That's not a word. Okay? So it's not necessarily a number set that makes it, oh my God, now you're an animal hoarder. It really is the conditions in which the animals can be able to be living in. Okay? Famous birdhouse in Euclid, Ohio. Sometimes you got to put your hazmat stuff on. Sometimes it's too dangerous. You've got chemicals, you've got a lot of other nasty things in there, and as well as varmints and vermin and things that you might want to come out and say hello to you in a very nice way, like biting your ankles and things like that. Sometimes you do need to take caution. I was at one of these before, and someone said, well, shouldn't such and such, send your agency provide this kind of equipment for you? Well, it's probably up to your agency to do that if you're working that, or if you go into a situation like that. Let me go back to the birdhouse real quick. Ladies, if you're planning to, if you are, or if you want to get pregnant, don't walk into this. Avian dung, for lack of a better word, is one of the most dangerous substances for women. It causes birth defects, it causes bad things with pregnancies. Okay? Stillborns, all those kinds of things. It can really screw things up. So ladies, especially, be very, very careful when you see situations like this. Make sure, try to get a mask or something, or walk away. Because this can really cause a lot of health problems. Okay, so what do? We talked a little bit about what it is. We talked a little bit about what it looks like. There's truly mental health issues going on here. The Orange County Task Force came here in 2007, kind of brought this all on board for us. We adopted a lot of things from them. And I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, and at the end there's a website to go to where it has a lot of this information that we're talking about as well. What we're looking at here, guys, is enforced harm reduction. And the main keys of this is, A, never ever do this alone, because you will become very liable, literally, overwhelmed. You need to have a team approach. And when I say that, I'm talking not just a team of 3 mental health providers going in. I'm talking a combination of police and fire. I'm talking a combination of your sanitation department. I'm talking a combination of maybe city building inspectors, things like that, okay, as well as mental health, as well as physical health. People that can kind of come in as a team approach. And 2 reasons you do that. One, so you get a break, because you can't do this consistently over and over again. You will get burnt out. And 2, the more different types of folks you go in and get into a home, the more opportunity somebody's going to get and make that relationship. Okay? No one wants to hear about a mental health provider coming to visit you. Don't want it, right? No one wants to hear how the building inspector is going to come and put tape across your door. But they might like the local visiting nurse. They might like the police chief that they voted for. They might like the fire guy who lives 2 doors down from them. Okay? So the more different types of folks you can get involved in the situation, somebody's going to make that relationship. And the most important thing about having any of this work at all is that relationship you can build with the person. Okay? So we're going to talk about levels here in a second. But when we've adopted, at least the Cuyahoga County Hoarding Connection has adopted, is trying to get folks at level 3. And level 3 is a midnight. All right? Level 4, and I'll get to kind of stuff in a second. Level 4, level 5 is your homes you just can't walk into. You know, it takes you 5 hours to attend people's door because there's so much stuff. You know, you don't have any working utilities. You can't get to the gas. The water doesn't work. You haven't been able to cook in 2 years because you can't get to your stove. You got all this paper and stuff all over your stove. Okay? Level 4, very similar. You've got go paths. Everybody heard of go paths? Your stuff is piled up so high, you're kind of doing this. Everybody heard of shoe stickers? You're walking, if you kind of stick to the floor as you're walking along, okay? Right? Because they're shuffling along in their go paths, and throwing whatever they have, and it just stays there, or fecal matter, whatever. So we're going to kind of get into this, but the most important thing in enforced harm reduction is we need to respect the person, treat it as what it is, mental disorder. Okay? Their items are their treasures. And this is not something that's going to go away real quickly. It's not a 1-step, 12-step program that's going to make it go away right away. This is a long-term commitment. Family members, don't do it. Get somebody else to do the dirty work for you. A, because you've probably done it many, many times. You're probably fed up. B, you probably aren't able to necessarily say things that need to be said that may hurt feelings, if you can feel them. As a family member going in, right? You can really damage a relationship. Oh, and by the way, how many parents love to have their kids tell them what they should do? I got 19 months old, I'm not trying to tell me what to do. Okay. So, it's a collaboration. You have housing inspectors, you have consumer, legal aid is important. Right? Especially if you've got housing issues, if you've got eviction notices, or you've got things like that, legal aid is important to have to make sure that they're covered and they're taken care of. APS if you're over 60, right? And protect their rights as well. Working as part of a team works, understanding what hoarding is. It's long-term, it's lifelong. It's much like an addiction in the fact of you go through treatment and recovery, and then you've got to kind of stay on it, or it will come back, kind of a thing, all right? What we don't have yet is we don't have those great self-help groups yet, okay? They're just not there yet. And there's one that's online. You can go online, it's called Messy's Anonymous, okay? But you kind of rule out a whole bunch of folks because of the electronic age, all right? You don't exaggerate, you don't do it alone, don't be dramatic. It is what it is. Here's what can be done. Where do we start? Here's step 1. Okay? Let's take this one piece of paper at a time. Okay? Or one dish at a time. Okay. Now, there are 2 tools right now that are being used that we've adopted in the county, and that we're Real quick, the Hoarding Connection of Cuyahoga County is not a service provision. Okay? What we are is a group of folks who got together, educators, service providers, city officials, and what we're trying to do is figure out what's the best way to approach this from a community base, right? We're going to educate. We're going to train. We have a training program we're about to come out with, right? We're trying to fire up a conference in May. Let people know what this is, because a lot of people don't. So how do we do this? So what we've done is we've come up with a scale, and this is all online kinds of things. The Hoarding Clutter Image Rating Scale has a 1 through 9, which kind of shows you progression of how hoarding gets worse. The NSGCD scale, the National Study Group on Chronic Disorganization, has a level 1 through 5, and that's more of a clinical type of evaluative tool. And with that, you come up with different severities of hoarding. Okay? We use that, and right now in the county, through the County Board of Health, we're doing a data collection study. And what we're trying to do is find out how many cases of hoarding are out there. Who knows what this is? And how can we get information from folks who may not be specifically educated or trained in hoarding? So on our website, anyway, I'll come to the end. On our website, we have a tools kind of request for information. If you walk into a situation, things hoarding, look at these scales, fill out this form, send it in. Now, all you licensed folks, we've gotten around confidentiality and HIPAA because we need to. Because the Board of Health they have a special dispensation with the state of Ohio that they can collect national health risk information, much like MRSA, or much like HIV or Hep B or things like that. Well, hoarding is considered a health risk, right? So we have a special fax number that's on this form. You send it to just one person, collect the data, put it in, and you're covered. So you don't have to worry about anybody coming back and saying, you violated my confidentiality, nothing like that. We're HIPAA proof. I'm just trying to get to some questions. So if you're really, really tired, read these references. You can't sleep, sorry, unless you like data. If you want to read one book, and one book only to get you started, read the first one up here, which is Stuff. Oops. Oops. This is a really good book. And then Buried in Treasures is a really good book too. And if you want to hear a famous study or a famous hoarding case, this Ghostly Men, Strange but True Story of the Collier brothers, who had, after they had died, they had 8.5 tons of material in their 2 lofts in New York City, part of which was a fully restored Model T Ford in their living room, but they died because they had caught themselves in their traps that they had set in their stuff when people were trying to come in and get rid of them. And then they set their own traps on themselves, and that's how they died. It's a really good book. Really good reading. This is the website to go to for more information or to kind of contact us if you want help, things like that. And I have like 5 minutes, fire questions at me, so I think I did one. Any thoughts, any questions?